Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Golf Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. First, in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30, Section 20, I have to inquire if anyone is taping this meeting. Seeing none, the other item of business is that this meeting will be replayed on Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072, and it can also be accessed via the Government Access Channel and the Town of Barnstable website. With that, we'll take the roll call. Jeff Converse.
Here.
John Cookson.
Present.
Suzanne Connolly.
Here.
Mark Bushway.
Present.
Bill Silva.
Present.
Jason Orby. Absent. Keith Hochstein present. Jesse, any public comments?
Negative.
Okay, we'll act on the minutes of the May 14th, 2024 meeting. Does anyone have any additions or deletions? Seeing none, would someone like to make a...
What?
Oh, John?
Guess everybody didn't read the minutes.
Oh, what?
Jeez.
Is it obvious?
Yeah,
On the contrary.
Oh, did it say something about Keith?
yeah.
Yeah.
It says, it starts off and it says, Chair Hochstein reads a statement in
Oh, that was me.
accordance, yeah. And then Chair Hochstein also reads the executive
I don't think
order.
I've ever even looked at that line.
I would like that corrected, please, because
yes.
I was.
Yes.
He was
John?
off gallivanting in
I
Europe.
am always thankful you're on the committee.
No, you're
Got
not.
it.
I mean that sincerely.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a question on
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay.
It says Director of Golf Maintenance Report, Chris White.
Right. He's,
He stood in.
we had two students.
Yeah, we had two stand-ins.
Yeah.
All right. I
So
was
that's
just checking,
accurate.
Yeah.
That's
Because I,
accurate, Jeff.
So
haven't
do
had
we
a
have to
chance
make a
watch
motion
it
to
yet.
amend the minutes?
Well, we have to make a motion to accept the amended
Oh, okay.
minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we're gonna vote on that then. Jeff Converse,
Sure, yes.
John Cookson.
Yep.
Keith Hochstein, I'll abstain as I wasn't here. Suzanne,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Bill,
I'll abstain as well.
okay.
Does that pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Do I still call it chair?
Huh?
Do I still call it chair?
Vice chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Director of Golf Maintenance Report, James.
Okay, so first, like I said, I'd like to thank Chris for filling in for me last time. I had a prior commitment, so that was nice of him to do that. I know it's been a while since you guys saw him, so he did well. I did watch the minutes, or the video. He did a good job. So. First of all, I want to address some comments I've heard about course conditions, and me and Chris are on top of it. We're not real happy with our first organic fertilizer application, particularly here at Old Barnstable. It just hasn't kicked in on the fairways. Lack of color, not a lot of growth, pretty disappointing. To address it, we're gonna, whether it was the cold, wet spring, did we go too early? A lot of factors there. That's the beauty of this organic program. We're going to actually have some product coming on Monday, and we're trying to go out with it next week to kick them in at both courses. Hyannis does look better,
Yeah.
but it's not great there either. The
I thought
color-
it was pretty good. I think it looked pretty good myself.
It's better.
But
It's not what it should be.
good, be a perfectionist. That's what we like.
I'm not happy with it. It's a product we used last year that I thought was good. We tried it again this year, and like I said, the cold, wet spring was our timing too early. It didn't release like we wanted to. We're on week 4. It's already out of gas, and we didn't get a good response. So we're gonna try to address that next
Some
week.
fairways worse than others. So.
It's yes, yeah, absolutely. Particularly 118, the holes close to the bog that don't get as much sun.
Right.
They look weak. right now. And I'm concerned, I mean, we're fortunate that we haven't had any humidity yet, or, you know, turf that doesn't, you know, have that strong foundation going into the summer months is gonna just get knocked out by disease, especially when we're on our very reduced pesticide program, so. No, we're gonna try to address it next week.
Okay.
Well,
That,
I think, James, if I may interrupt you
Sure.
just for a second. The decision, I think all of us would like to hear an answer as to whether or not you think it's the product itself, or whether or not it's extenuating circumstances like the weather or something of that nature.
I think it's a combination of two, possibly. I did complain about it to the salesman, and he blamed it on weather conditions, of course. It's also one of the fairly cheaper, I shouldn't say fairly cheaper, it's a more affordable organic product. That being said, it was $40,000 to do both courses.
It's still a lot
That's a
more than
significant amount of money,
what we
significant
used.
amount of product.
used years ago.
Is this the same schedule you would have used last year, the same timing?
Yes, maybe a week earlier.
Is it different, does it differ much from the other organic courses, the ones on Martha's Vineyard, for example, do we know?
I can talk to Kevin over there at the Vineyard Club to see what he's using. I haven't yet. I
They
probably
may
should.
not even have the same product.
He's probably using something
Yeah.
that we may not be able to afford, but I can find
Yeah,
out.
okay.
That's the tough part about this whole thing. You just need so much of it to get to that level we need to be, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
I will say it was huge. Jesse and Chris Ganella just got approved at town council last week. Decision package, 30 grand increase in the fertilizer line for fiscal year 25. So that's going to help. That's a huge part.
It's tough that he has so few peers to
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
get feedback from,
Yeah.
you know, right?
I mean, a lot of other courses are using organics, but they're combo products. It's called Bridge. They're
yeah.
50-50. 50 organic, which is great, but the other 50% is synthetic, and that's giving them the green up and the boost that we're just,
Could we use that?
They're not gonna let us go the other
we're
way.
trying to get away from that.
Because, you know, the clover all over the place.
The clover's a different issue. That's actually my next topic. I mean, me and Chris have been watching it. This is year 6. It's been year after year after year
Spreading.
of not taking care of it and knocking it out. It's bad.
Yeah.
At both courses. I'm experimenting with a selective broadleaf weed control, an organic one. They use it up in Canada. So what that means is when I say selective, it won't harm the turf. A lot of the organic weed control products will kill everything, including the grass. This won't. The problem with it being, we sprayed it once, it did knock it down, it didn't kill it. So it's typical organic product. I feel like it might work. It's just gonna take multiple applications. It's expensive. We're gonna try to stay on it. But it's not, like I said, it's the best option we have. It's the first thing I found that actually will be okay on our turf and actually do something against the weeds. So we're gonna try to stick with that. Especially with new fiscal year coming up, we'll be able to purchase more of it. And there's another product we can possibly mix with it to maybe get better efficacy and control. So that's all part of it. I mean, we
Yeah,
have
and the
to
fact
figure
that it was
out.
we were open all winter, you know, didn't help.
That didn't help. That didn't help. That ties more back into the courses got so beat up with the fertilizer not kicking in too. But yeah, it's glad you brought that up, Mark. That was my next talking point was specifically the clover out there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try it specifically in tees and fairways first.
Do you still have your person going out and filling divots in the morning? or-
We do, yep, we
Yes.
have an older couple, they've actually been great, they volunteered, because Hyannis is shorthanded, they're going over there once a week to try to help out over there too.
I didn't know if it was, you know, I know we've talked before about having, you know, divot mix in the carts, and you said, or at buckets on the tee boxes, people weren't using it, it was germinating, you had to throw it out, but
Yes,
if you had maybe a select number or a bucket like that you could fill at the shed up here, so like, I know like a lot of times you're standing out on the third fairway waiting to hit while the group's up there, like, I'd be filling some divots if I could take a bottle out there with me, and I walk usually, you know, like, if you had maybe just, and I know there's other people that play a lot that would do the same thing, just, hey, let me take a bottle out with me, and I'll fill divots while I'm out there. I don't know, just a thought.
I mean, I love the idea. I know we don't have that option on the cards.
Lord, that was my first thought, right?
Oh, there's no way to mount the bottle?
You don't have the holders on the cards. No.
So the card has to come with the holder?
It would have been an add-on, right?
Oh.
Everything's an add-on, believe it or not, a windshield, a roof is an add-on.
But to follow up with Mark's idea, if you had a cadre of people
Sure.
trained and you trust them to do that, that might really be helpful.
Jason would do it too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
He would say Steve would do it, yeah. All right, let me look into the cost of just
And, well-
housing that material, just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, some containers.
I mean, if we do go that route, I would say don't put it on every card, because
Well,
your average
and I
fee
think
player isn't
a
gonna
lot of
do
us
it.
walk too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could.
No, I think to his
Something-
point, it would just be in a central location and the people.
I would take some
Yeah.
out with
Right,
me.
people, if
I
If you
could
wanna
put-
use
go-
it, take it.
I could
Right,
put a
use
bottle
it.
in my bag, I have
It
a
would
push
just be
cart, and while you're standing around
Yeah.
out there waiting to hit.
It's like when I walk around, when I'm on a green, I walk around and fix 8 ball marks.
I
on the
know,
way to the
exactly,
putt.
yeah.
Just, it's almost therapeutic. It's like I don't want to stand over my putt the whole time. It helps me.
Right.
You could get little badges that said Divot Patrol, and
I
Mark would
could
get
think
the
of a
first
way
one.
to reward.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
come up with something.
That would be wonderful.
I'll huddle up with him.
Do you like that idea? I mean, it would help.
It would help.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially,
If you had a little bottle, you could put it.
How
in
much
the
more
side of
sand
your
and
golf
seed
cart,
would you?
and
it wouldn't be that
just
much.
to have it.
It's, they do a great job in the tee
guys
boxes,
that
but to
play
keep up in the fairway divots.
fairway's different,
that's-
yeah.
That'd be,
Well,
That'd be
yeah,
great.
you'd have a
Too
separate
busy
bucket
for
for
that
that.
to even do that.
they do get out there early, but there's so many tee divots.
I have to tell you the truth, Mark. I take a cart, but like today, you know, I was waiting for everybody to hit their second
Sure.
shots. I could do that. You know, if I had a bottle in the cart in the basket, I would be happy to do that.
Yeah.
So
Jesse, along with that, we had spoken a couple of meetings back about a volunteer day,
Yep.
which we
Yep.
did last year.
We'll do that again.
Yep, okay.
In the fall aeration.
Right.
That worked out great.
Yeah, courses are closed, so it's.
That couple, I believe, works 6 days a week, filling.
But I think,
divots.
like James said, I think they must just be doing the tee boxes and.
They
and
try to hit fairways when they
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
but it's too
Yeah.
much for the
Yeah,
two of them to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
up with, yeah.
It's a good way to get your walk in.
So I'll try to be more positive here.
Well, I think,
Positive,
James,
James.
just, it's important that the public knows exactly why the conditions are the way they are.
Yeah.
We have some challenges out there, that's part of it,
we
yeah.
have hundreds of people watching.
I will say, the greens, in my opinion, the greens of both courses look phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
They look great, they're healthy.
They're rolling great.
I was gonna ask that of you, that's
Yeah.
good to hear.
I mean, do you guys agree? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
They're rolling great.
And they're, like I said, they're healthy, not just on top, but the roots are healthy.
Good.
And that's huge going into the summer. We've struggled with that the last few years.
Yeah.
I think we finally found a good program where we're really focusing on root growth, which is,
Excellent.
when we're limited like we are, that's what we
Yeah.
need going into July and August.
Yeah.
So I'm actually somewhat excited about that.
Yeah, you should be. They're great.
So that's, that's great. Also some good news, Hyannis finally got the sprayer. It came the last week of May. It's been out already 2 or 3 times. What a difference for them.
Excellent.
Um,
Excellent.
every time Chuck went out to spray, there was either a breakdown or the
Yeah.
organic stuff would clog.
Yeah.
And he had to stop and clean out the filter screens, and it just, Dan, the assistant here, went over, because he's really familiar with the machine, and showed it to him, and he loves it.
Excellent.
Chuck at Hyannis loves it, and he's comfortable with it. That's gonna make a huge
And
difference.
so this new sprayer, you don't have the problems with the clogging?
No, it's got much better agitation.
Oh, good, good, good. All right.
Basically, it churns up
Yeah.
the product better, so it doesn't clog.
Super.
Um,
That is
Doesn't
good
clog the
news.
nozzles. So that's huge for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
That was a big part of that missing puzzle over there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, still short on the rough mower situation over there isn't good. We've had to put a lot of money into one of the older rough mowers to keep it going. TPC did donate it's not ideal, it's a fixed deck mower. We can't take it out in the course, but to help us out mowing the range where it's flat.
oh, okay,
It's a loaner, it's a demo,
Yeah.
but they're gonna let us keep it for a while, so that helps. But yeah, as far as the rest of the equipment package, the fairway mowers and the triplexes, I think we will have this summer, the new ones. But those rough mowers, I can't even get a date from them on those.
wow,
Maybe next year,
jeez.
if we're lucky.
That package is kind of trickling in, huh?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Wow.
That's Toro.
That's Toro.
Supply chain issues.
Would that affect why, like, some of the rough you're just gonna let go, like,
Oh, no, we're gonna make sure we get it, you know. I mean,
okay.
We did fix the older machine, we're gonna get it done, it's just
We just spent $4,000 on parts, but yeah.
on a machine with 6,000 hours on
Yeah.
it, which is, it should be surplus, it's,
It's like a boat.
well, that was just one side that broke, so when's
Yeah.
the other front gonna fall apart, so. But the sprayer was huge. Also, I was shocked, we actually got some younger kids to apply,
Ooh, good.
and we had some money available. We got two younger kids, one started last week, and we got another one starting Monday, specifically at Hyannis,
Good.
to help out their staffing situation, which was, that was a huge problem.
Are they high school kids,
College
college kids?
kids.
Kids,
So,
okay.
but just between bunker work and weed whacking and some of the, you know, more labor intensive tasks to help
Excellent.
out over there, that was
Excellent.
huge. So, much appreciated that we finally got some help. I'll be quick with the rest of it, quick Audubon update. I wanna thank Mary, she gave me a little bulletin board space up in the clubhouse.
Oh, good.
On the right when you walk in, I've
Oh,
got
I
some.
have to look at it.
Yeah, I've got my Audubon updates up there. It's nothing crazy, it's just fact sheets and some of the stuff that we're doing. But I'll update it periodically.
Okay,
They have liked what I've submitted so far, I've gotten some response from them. Things I do need to do is water testing, which I'm gonna be working on this month, specifically our pond and also our groundwater. That's something I wanna see. And also community outreach, which I have been working on. I hosted a what they call a bio blitz event, which I took a bunch, it was basically like a little field trip. I got a bunch of homeschool kids, we went out there, we cataloged a bunch of wildlife. It was like a little nature walk.
cool.
I submit,
That was the day you saw something.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Good.
yeah, the golfers were
Good.
probably like, what the heck are all these kids doing around? We tried to stay out of the way.
Were they wearing
Um,
helmets?
No, but they were good, they were respectful, and,
Good.
you know, they got to see a lot of bird life and
Good.
some monarch butterflies in our habitat out there, so that's all part of it. And also with the community outreach, I'm gonna be forming like kind of a subgroup, resource advisory group, it's called. Couple guys from the maintenance staff will be on it, and any other persons who might be interested in the community. We're not gonna meet that often, but just to go over,
I'd be interested.
I thought you might.
I
Just to go over, you know, some of the environmental stuff we do with the
Sure.
nesting boxes and anything
The
else.
pollinator field up there on
Exactly.
17,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, all
Okay,
that stuff,
all right.
so. There'll be more info on that to come,
Excellent.
so. That's pretty much what I had. Any questions from anyone, or?
Questions, comments?
I have a
Okay.
question, but
Jeff?
it's not something that I think you probably don't have an answer to. Okay, and, all right, this is bouncing back to when we were told that the town of Barnstable is going organic on all its properties. Okay, does anybody know if the Cape Leak fields are adhering to this, or if they're just pouring synthetics and nobody's watching. And why are we the only ones that are really adhering to it at the expense, the added expense of 40 grand more for, you know, what we had to do? I mean,
I have no clue.
what
I know
is-
the answer to that question, and I'm not gonna comment on it.
Okay. Thank you.
You know the answer to the question about the Cape Cod baseball leagues?
Do it.
The two in the town we're talking. You're talking about the two in Barnstable, right, Jeff?
Yeah, there are
Yes,
other
too.
fields around the entire town
Right,
that I'm
but you
curious
mentioned Cape
about
Cod
too,
baseball,
but
so,
yeah, you've got, you know,
Hyannis
Lowell
and
Lowell
Katuah.
Park and you've got McKeon Park,
right,
McKeon Field, whichever you wanna call
Where
it.
the Harbor Hawks play.
Yeah,
right.
But you also have all the playing fields at the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I guess, you know, this was all foisted on us and we immediately reacted. We did everything that we were supposed to do. And I'm just curious if the rest of the town is doing the same thing. Or, once again, is golf being singled out as you guys are the biggest, you know, you were the biggest pain.
we're taking care of our own area.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all
I was
I'm
just
concerned
curious if anybody knew
A
about
little
other
bit of the
areas.
expense of the course, though.
But it has added to,
No question.
you know, and it takes away from the monies that, you know, the revenues that are coming in.
I'll
Jeff,
just
may I make-
say, look at the turf conditions. And then,
Jeff, I would suggest going to town council meetings and asking the question. Just ask the question and ask for an answer, because they'll have to answer you at public comment. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. I have enough,
Yeah,
I have enough to say, so.
Yeah, no,
But I'd love to see the answer to that, and if a member of the public asks, they really have to give us an answer.
I didn't see you there Thursday night.
What's
I
that?
didn't see you there this past Thursday.
I had COVID,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, but I'm all better now.
sure you are.
I was watching at home. No, I don't have it now, I'm negative. I'm negative, but, yeah, I was watching at home.
That was just a question, and,
Sure,
I mean,
it's valid.
you know, how much more is this gonna be costing us each year now? I mean, it's like, it's already going up for synthetics, and I can't imagine how it is for organics.
it's, yeah.
Jeff, do you know, does the town of Barnstable own the land that both of those fields are on?
Yeah,
They do.
I know
We-
that McKeon Park is a lease deal with the school, St. John Paul. They pay $1 a year to lease it, but they've got a 99-year contract or whatever.
Oh,
And I know that the Harbor Hawks also have a lease thing, and I'm pretty sure Katuah, I don't know for sure. But I was just curious, I feel like the golf community is always singled out for, you know, you guys are doing more damage to the environment, blah, 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 and it's like,
A lot more acreage. I don't know what the rationale would be.
I mean, I could go around my neighborhood and probably see more synthetics
Oh,
poured
sure.
in there, and
Oh, the
then,
homeowners, absolutely.
yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Not to mention, we all know Hyannisport, Comaquid, and Oyster Harbor.
Exactly,
Yeah, right.
all of the private courses are not doing this. But Jeff, I can't, I'll say it again, I would encourage you to go to town council for the answer.
Okay, Director of Golf report?
So earlier today, I met at Hyannis Golf Course with Chris Canella, Director of Asset Management David Anthony, Don Cox of the Mass Military Sport Foundation, and a man named George Ortiz who's taking over for Don. Don is retiring. We toured the building. The goal was to start the process of establishing who owns what and how we can get everything out of the building to accommodate construction. This is specifically regards to restaurant-related items and equipment. Yeah. The results of this will have a big impact when it comes time to put together the RFP for the next restaurant lease. Because as of right now, we really aren't sure what equipment will be staying on property or what's even in good working order, which obviously will be a huge part of the RFP when we do start working on it. In terms of the building, I know this may be shocking, but I really don't have an update. I If Jason was here, he'd be laughing at me. We are still trying to negotiate a settlement with our insurer. The sprinkler system remains a sticking point. And this is the part of the show where I pass the buck and tell you it's in the hands of my superiors. But it's that, the sprinkler system is really the elephant in the room at this point.
Why? Why is that a problem?
They are making a claim that it's not their problem, so to speak.
But the construction passed the monetary threshold, where it's a required
Yes,
piece
yes.
due to the accident.
It's right. It has nothing, it doesn't matter that it wasn't, the accident didn't affect, well, of course it didn't affect it, it didn't exist. Sprinkler system.
Right,
But
it's the threshold
bringing the
that,
building to
yeah.
code because we're surpassing 33% of the value or
Right.
whatever. Right, so that's what's being hammered out right now between asset management, the building commissioner, and Chubb Insurance. That's, I
Do you
feel
have
the
a,
same way you do.
Yeah, do you have a number for what the sprinkler system would cost?
I'm going to say between, I don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
I want to say about 200.
$200,000.
Yes, I believe. I think the system, I want to say the system itself, I'll get back to you. I believe the
Yeah.
system itself was like 180, and then you were talking like another 50 to actually run the pipe.
How often do the negotiations occur, on a weekly basis?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll get an email at least once a week, hey, here's the latest, and a lot of time just because there's words on paper doesn't mean there's any real information there.
Have
Yeah.
Barnstable's attorneys been involved?
Yes,
Okay, Karen Nober probably, okay.
yeah, and the building commissioner, and asset management, and yeah. It's,
Wow.
yeah, it's been, yeah. As James mentioned, I attended last week's town council meeting, during which I'm happy to report our FY25 proposed budget was unanimously approved. The only notable questions asked by councilors were the expected ones, the Hyannis Clubhouse status and the organic turf maintenance approach. Chris Cannell did an excellent job of answering these. Unfortunately, I don't have to say a word, which as far as I'm concerned is a good thing. You know? FY25, what we're about to enter, marks the final year of debt service related to
Yay.
the purchase of this
Yay.
land, the land that Hyannis Golf Course sits on.
How much will that help with your budget and the cost of the organic program?
So, as you probably know, for the last several years, the debt's been paid by CPC funds,
Yeah.
so it's really a net zero.
Oh,
The
right,
budget,
I
in
forgot
theory, the
about
budget
that.
will go
Yeah,
down
yeah.
300 grand on both sides,
Right,
revenue
right.
and expense.
Yeah.
So really, it's a net zero.
Yeah,
But
but,
what's notable about it is Chris Cannella believes we have a decent chance of having CPC continuing to help support the golf operation in terms of the restoration efforts for the bunkers.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's kind of where we're headed with this. Obviously, the clubhouse takes precedence, but that's something he and I will be working on in the very near future, is to see if CPC is willing to keep that level of monetary commitment
Uh-huh,
moving forward, and we'll put it towards bunkers
yeah,
at Hyannis first, and then possibly even here.
yeah.
I know that just Sandwich Hollow just had a $250,000 bunker renovation paid for by CPC.
Wow.
So it's possible. So even though it's a net zero to our budget, like everybody thinks I'm so happy that it's paid off. I am, but in reality it doesn't.
It doesn't matter, yeah,
Correct.
I
correct.
forgot
And
about
I don't want to
CPC.
sound ungrateful to CPC
No,
saying it
no.
doesn't matter, but it is a net zero to the budget.
I think it's really helped that they stepped in and did
Huge,
the debt
huge,
service.
because for how many
Yeah.
years did we pay? I mean,
It's $230,000 a year for 5 years.
Wouldn't that?
more, yeah,
300.
300, right. And up until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that
You
was
were
coming
paying
out of
it,
our
yeah,
budget.
you were
So,
paying it.
right, I
Yeah.
wasn't director at the time, Bruce had to figure
Yeah,
that out.
poor
you know,
Bruce.
Right, poor Bruce. Yeah. Revenue remains positive. We entered the month of June up about 160,000 over forecast.
Yeah,
As you saw, June's been solid so far. In fact, as of earlier today, we are only $40,000 away from making our revenue target for the entire fiscal year.
wow,
So sum total is, I believe we are on track to make a modest 5-figure contribution to our reserve account.
good.
Yeah, even after using the money from reserve to balance this year, I think we're still gonna make a contribution. Outside of that, obviously, we're in the thick of the season. Staff's very busy. Maintenance crew, as always, doing a great job of taking care of busy golf courses. Operations staff is handling sold-out tee sheets and countless groups, leagues, tournaments. Some are low maintenance, some not so much. On the administrative side, Susan and I are busy trying to close out FY24 and get everything ready for FY25. I've basically always had the thought that Susan and I's job in the admin office is to handle all the red tape and the bureaucratic nonsense so that maintenance and operations can just focus on their respected areas and not have to deal with that kind of stuff, or at least as little of it as possible. We kind of try to run interference for them. So I mean, besides, you know, pretty much all I wanted to really hit on was budget, because we're up against it fiscal year wise, and the clubhouse not much going on, but yeah, I mean, it's not exactly project time. It's, you know, we're in the thick of it. So.
I noticed, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Outside outings, we're doing okay in that department, both courses?
Not Hyannis so much, but yeah, I mean, revenue's good. Revenue's good.
You had mentioned that you thought that those spots that used to be filled by outings, as
Yes.
Bill questioned you about, might be filled by regular golfers. Has that happened at all, do you think?
Yes. I've been of the opinion since golf blew up after COVID, sometimes, I hate to say this, but having those groups of 100 players that shut you down for the whole day, sometimes it's a net loss.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what you had said earlier.
I mean, sometimes you'd rather just be open and do 220 rounds,
Yeah.
half of them of which are fee play.
Right.
You know, when you win on those outings, as if it's a crummy, drizzly day. Now you're happy you have them,
Yeah,
because who knows what you would have done without it.
right.
You know, but yeah, but yeah. So it's funny. I think I've said this before in a meeting. When I first got the job as the pro, I'd be asked constantly, "How many outings do we have? How many outings do we have?" Since COVID happened and golf blew up, I haven't been asked that question once.
Yeah.
Really, like outside of this. So no, I can't complain about our fee play. I mean, the greens fees are there. They are.
It's
Other
across the board.
questions?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I'm
we
sure.
are slammed.
Cranberry, you're not doing outings, right?
We have, well,
We don't need to.
We've had 5, all of them on Thursday, all of them it has rained.
Perfect. Right?
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah.
Except for the people working outside.
Yes. That's the guy staring at the spreadsheets. Yeah. Yeah. Susan.
Jesse, I've heard an ad on the radio that we combine with 3 or 4 other courses for a reduced rate if an individual buys a
Right.
package.
We've been doing that for years.
Okay, and how does that work out?
So it's Coxon Media. They own 4 radio stations: Pixie 103, Frank FM. Oh, I forget the other 2 right now. But they sell what's called a golf card.
Right.
So they partner with a bunch of courses. I give them a fixed number of rounds, okay, and we get trade advertising dollars. So it's kind of a bartering.
Oh, I see.
So I give them 300 rounds. They can put us on 300 of those cards, right? When somebody, only at Hyannis, not here.
Right. I
Used
knew
to be
that.
here, I knocked
It
that.
says only Hyannis.
Correct.
on
Yeah.
the-
So when somebody comes to play Hyannis, the person behind the counter punches the card, they ring it in a POS radio card. There's no money exchange, but it helps track it. And in exchange for that, we get X amount of dollars that I can use towards advertising for whatever I want.
Okay.
So you might hear an ad in this coming October that's promoting early sign up for membership, which I have the ability to do because of the card.
And we
with
get
no money
that-
out of pocket.
We get that for free then.
Right. So we're giving away X number of rounds in exchange for, right. So that's what that is. That's been going on
Okay,
for a while.
yeah, I knew we had,
Yeah.
and I hadn't,
It helps, it helps me, I think it's win-win because it exposes people to Hyannis and it helps me, so I only have $30,000 advertising budget. Less than 1% of our budget is advertising. Most companies are 4 or 5%, you know, so I don't have much to work with, so anytime I can do something that's zero
Okay.
cost.
You could get a plane,
I jump on.
banner,
A
and
banner
fly
plane.
over
Yeah.
Dowses Beach.
They do that for free because they're trying to get hours, right?
Oh,
Towards their license, yeah.
I'm good. I was looking at the spreadsheets and I misread something, so I'm good.
All right, other questions for Jesse?
Sorry to be so short.
No,
It
It's
seems
June,
like
it's,
things are
yeah.
moving along.
Revenue's solid, I'm happy.
Revenue.
I wasn't confident until last week that we were going to make a contribution.
How's the
But-
pro shop at Hyannis doing? It looks good. It
I
looks really
think
well
Tom has
done.
done an amazing job.
Yeah.
If you strictly look at the numbers, yeah, it's down.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing great with what he has to work
No
with.
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. So
Yeah, numbers here are insane.
Yeah,
Insane. She's gonna beat her. Oh, I forget what the exact number was. I think she was budgeted to do $40,000 in clothing sales. She's gonna do 60.
yeah.
Wow.
She's killing her number.
The numbers here
Yeah.
look so good for OBF.
Yes, and
And Hyannis isn't that bad. I mean,
no,
yeah.
no, it's Old Barney can only subsidize Hyannis so much.
Well, I noticed
And-
that OBF is carrying
It
Hyannis
is.
a bit. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but hey,
but
that's life.
hopefully that'll self-correct.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
once we're back up and running,
Mm-hmm.
because we'll be. I'll probably be looking to expand that marketing budget once the Hyannis everything's done and really.
You should,
really
because we'll
hammer
have a
that
beautiful
place.
clubhouse
Right.
event.
So that'll be a decision
eventually.
package I'll put in, try to get that up to 50 or 60 grand from 30.
The Quota League is probably gonna improve those numbers over at Hyannis, right?
Quota
I
League?
know they can use them at both places, but
It's been 6 weeks, 6 days of play. I say 6 weeks, it's
Right.
really only 6 days of play. It's already made $20,000.
Yeah,
It's crazy,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the Quota League it gets people to the golf course on a day they otherwise might not.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little drizzly, or it's a little, but hey, it's quota day, I gotta go.
yeah.
You know, it creates a, yeah.
Okay.
The restaurant upstairs,
Here,
yes. Do you know what the hours are?
I only know in the lease when they're required to be open. And they are adhering to that.
What are they required to be open in the evenings?
I wanna say 6:30. I think, let me, get back to you. When have they been closing?
Well, somebody said that they were closing at 4 on Sunday. And we were there last Wednesday evening
John
before
and I were there.
6:30. And somebody came in and he was
Done cooking.
booted out.
Okay.
So I'm not
They
sure
only
that
had
they
one
are.
person, and we had a group of
So-
about 14.
That's what I'm up against, is if they tell me they're short-staffed and they can't find people to work, how do I say, not my problem, figure it out? You
Just
know,
the way you do
That's
it.
how you say it.
Just the way you do
and that's gonna do what? Suddenly create applicants? I
No,
mean,
but it could, you know, I mean, yeah, everybody's faced with the same issue.
correct.
And now schools are getting out this week. Colleges are already out, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same issue across the Cape.
I
People
will,
can't afford to stay here. If you're.
Let me look at that.
Well, I guess it's one thing if, because there was only one young lady there that night, she couldn't do the bar and the food as
Yes.
well. That's one issue. We didn't know whether or not, John asked me, whether or not they were officially closed.
No,
What he was
no, and that's
going
why I'm not worried about a
50-50
one-off.
kind of
If
thing.
it
No,
just so
no,
happened-
nobody's quibbling.
Something,
but
right, but if
John's
it's,
point
if it's,
was, what
but
are
if
the
it's
hours?
all the time,
Right.
yeah.
When they're gonna be told it's all organics.
And that was a Sunday?
Really.
No, that was a Wednesday,
Wednesday, but
night.
somebody that
I think
night
it's the worst,
said
it's
that
been worst condition it's been.
on Sundays they were gonna close
It
at
was
4
a
o'clock.
cold spring. I think we're all-
Yeah, that shouldn't be the case.
They should be expanding hours soon, if not right now.
Seven minimum.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically, they should be closed when it's still light out,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Well,
But
I mean,
I'll get on that.
we do have a sole source.
they
have
should
my
be
list.
making
We
money,
do have to
Yeah, yeah.
Take care of them.
so that's why it's a little confusing. Oh, I'm sure they're making money, but they should be on Sunday night. I mean, the T sheet is filled,
Right.
so that's gonna take people right into 6 or 7.
Each day.
Well, I think the,
I've
uh,
tried to get out over here, I
the
can't get
overall-
a time.
You're so busy.
Yeah, I like that course, I played it.
I think the restaurant has gone downhill from
Great course.
last year.
Way
This
better
year.
than Yarmouth is in good shape.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Quite a bit.
Really?
I've seen that.
In terms of,
We're very fortunate to have all the good golf courses.
See if I can
I
pull it
think
up in the next
the
30
cost
seconds.
of food has, has stressed a lot of restaurants out. And sometimes the solution is to, change, what?
Skimp?
Thank you, John, or to raise prices. You have two options there as a restaurant. And, just saying. I have a story.
7 o'clock.
That's what it says?
Yep.
Okay,
May
what it should
1st,
be.
May 1st through August 15th,
okay.
7 o'clock. So,
Are they serving liquor at Hyannis?
yeah,
They are.
everything, nothing, they're not pouring anything,
Mm.
it's all canned. So like beers obviously, but then like,
One of
those,
those,
The hard,
one of the
yeah,
things I
that
like
kind
to
of stuff,
do-
but they're not pouring drinks, they
Right,
don't have a
right.
license for that.
I like to sit out on the Adirondack chairs up here, have a beer after.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
If I've ever done it. Is there a spot for something like that over at Hyannis?
The deck is operational,
The deck,
in
okay.
theory,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting served up there,
Yeah.
but
but
if
you
you
can go
wanna.
sit up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we make sure that the tables and chairs are all in order and it
Oh,
stays
good.
clean and it,
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
A
nice.
bunch of people up there after quota on Monday. I was
Yeah,
there and
people
they-
go up
Oh,
to, yeah,
good,
so the
good.
deck is an option, the awning's up, the new $28,000 awning. So, yeah.
And now,
Right.
one other comment under the restaurant. I'm not sure that the cart person has been trained adequately.
Oh, the beverage cart
Yes.
here,
Yes,
obviously.
because you see, it's kind of like this rather than, say, starting
More
at
linear,
18,
yeah.
then going back and,
That was a
heading
problem
home.
last year, you may recall at Hyannis.
Hyannis is brutal for a beverage cart, just all the blind coming
Right,
over
right.
hills and yeah.
It's up to the restaurant to train them, right? That's what we were told last year.
100%,
Yeah.
that's not, yeah.
But you wouldn't want to something
But I
in
can,
harm's way.
Beverage
give some
cart should be working
direction.
backwards. Go down
Yeah.
18.
You know, I think in years past, Jesse, too, and I guess it was up to the restaurant, but on really, really hot days, they would have a cooler out there with some water bottles in it. It was
Yeah.
really a nice touch, I think especially for those people, visiting or something. And I don't know if it's, it was just a really, because I know we can't have jugs of water out there, but to have water bottles in a cooler on a really hot day.
Were they going around or
No,
they were
just
stationary?
left them, they were stationary.
Okay.
Yeah, just
A lot of
coolers.
times they
Coolers,
were right
coolers.
above the 15th green.
Yeah,
Between the
exactly.
15th green and the 16th tee box.
Not in a cart, but just
No,
in a cooler.
just in a
Just in a
cooler.
cooler.
And I think by 8,
Okay,
8 T-box too, I think here. It's just,
Yeah, I think the club paid for that. They, on days like, when it's 95
Sure.
and no wind, and.
Yeah, I can remember
Did
Mary
we
going
pay or
out.
did,
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
Mary,
Restaurant.
I would have no problem paying for that in my budget, that's not gonna swing
break
anything.
you, right.
But my concern would be the restaurant saying, hey, what are you doing?
She buys it from the restaurant.
yeah, buy it from them.
Yeah, it's sale for
Not
them.
at $3 a bottle.
I was just gonna say, at retail? You know what I mean?
One would hope.
I don't know how it was done
Because we're
before,
going,
but it was
we're
a
going to
nice.
BJ's.
It
you know
was
what
a
I mean?
nice touch.
Yeah.
However,
let me
it was,
see what,
however it was done.
yeah, let me see how it was done, because buy it for them, right, but not at three, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go to BJ's, tell them we're gonna put a sign up. We'll put a BJ sign up. Give us some water. Someone would do it.
well, I have noticed the machines have been stocked. So the machines are always out there too, and you can buy your own water. But, no, I agree, the coolers were a nice touch.
I'm about 50-50 on those machines
Oh,
working
really?
when I put money in them.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, oh, and they're responsible to maintain
Of course.
those
We're not in the food and
working
beverage
order.
industry.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I bring my water, but I agree with Mark 100%. I think it's a great idea.
You know, and if
If
it's
you- but-
cheap and easy to do,
Yeah,
why not?
set a policy,
Why not?
90
It's a nice
90
touch.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is a
sure.
nice touch.
and over 90 and boom, you know.
I'll talk to Jill.
You'll see an increase in green
All right,
space.
other comments,
We've never had such a long list.
questions?
That's good.
There goes our surplus.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Okay.